Hello, and without further ado, here is your RP candidate for ruler of the MMO multiverse, Penelope Bellows. Yes, I am so glad you could all join me today. Thank you for that lovely and breathy introduction, my sweet Jessica. I am so pleased to have all of you here, and I will start answering your questions with you, my dear. Yes, you, Ara in the blue. Oh, I think I was misheard speaking about the good fellow Maxon. Yes, I actually said he seems to like purple cookies. And oh my, who doesn't love purple cookies every now and then? And no, I don't read such trash magazines. That is preposterous. I would not soil my eyes with Trash Talk magazine. Okay, next, you good dwarven sir. Chisholm. Well, I honestly don't know much about the good lad. What? Yes, what I said last time. We all misjudge characters at some point in time. Maybe he will do what he says. He does seem to spew a lot. Is it a chance you good voters are willing to take if you elect him? Okay, I think we have time for one more question before I need to head out. You, Nightborn. Yes, what is your question? Well, I won't confirm or deny that Miss Bell attempted to work for me. But I don't dally in all that sunshine and happiness. She seems so far up on that rainbow of hers that can't believe can even see the poor suffering role players of Canosia. And would this be someone that you want running the multiverse? Someone that can't even connect with her own people? I think not. So, my lovely peers, I must be going. I am supposed to talk at a rally in Meridian, out in Talara. I do hope I can count on your votes when the time comes. And I will leave you with this little tidbit. That metal bikini is very padded. Anywho, vote Mellows!
This is RPMMORadio,
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
a podcast all about role-playing and MMORPGs.
I like what you got. Good job.
With your hosts, Ashen Phoenix, Sid, Jazz, Sibh'Bae, and Kishmas.
Everybody off. We need to go on a quick adventure.
Hello, role players. This is RPMMORadio, our 57th episode, Flawless Victory. Which sounds nothing like the guy that actually does that in Mortal Kombat, but I don't have echo sound effects and voice chips from the late 90s, so you get what you pay for, and since you're here for free, That says pretty much all there is. So I, of course, am one of your hosts, Essen Phoenix, and with me today is Jazz and Sib. I don't know where Sibh'Bae is. I can only assume, being down in Texas, he is abducted by aliens and right now being anally probed.
Oh, no.
I know. I don't know what it is with their deal and the anus. But, I mean, although, Jazz, I don't know if you've heard the new terminology for certain body parts down below now, but we will now, of course, refer to it as the front hole and the back hole is now the accepted medical terminology.
Is it?
Yes, according to the crazy people that think vagina and penis are too specific and mean and spirited. So it's going to be the front hole and the back hole, which I don't know if they're aware. I have several holes in my front. So using one of them right now to communicate. So it's not really what you would call a medical term per se. Or
shut your pie hole.
Now I want pie. And just like that, I'll see you guys later. Bye. Get me some apple pie. So, Kishmas, poor bastard. I don't even have to make up anything horrible for him. He's having to close at his store, and he's the only one, which means he's definitely not going to make it, because...
All by himself.
Well, I mean, it is like a Best Buy. I don't know that you're by yourself.
By himself anymore. I'm just giving you some, like, little background tunes.
Very, very, very little would be much better.
Hey.
Much less than that. I actually had a poll that I put up just recently about the amount of singing that's been on the show recently. I voted in it, and it turns out the people want less.
You're being rude.
Yeah, especially from the female cast. All of them. Yeah, all of them.
Oh, I see. And how many people voted in this?
Oh, it was a scientific poll, and it was actually... Amazingly, it was 100% of the people wanted to hear less of you. I mean, there was only the one voter, but it was 100% guaranteed. Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought of letting you guys vote, but then I remembered I don't believe in women's suffrage, so I mean, I totalitarian took away the vote. I am taking us towards what's that stupid show with the maidens thing, the Handmaiden's Tale. Yeah, I'm taking us right there. That's right. Put on your little weird bonnet thing, and I don't know. I've not seen the show. I'm told Sib said it was actually very good, but I have to take her word for it because I've not got around to the 5 billion shows I still want to watch. Quit making good television, guys. It's there's only so much time in the day between that and video games. I need to get like a rich uncle to die. Anybody have a rich uncle that wants to adopt me? I'm 39 years old. I'm willing to be adopted. And anybody?
I'm so willing to give him up.
I got boss's signature on it already. So, yeah, it looks like it's just going to be the three of us. Rahana, our Unify, we're not going to have our call screeners today because, as I've said, if they didn't have bad luck, they wouldn't have any luck. So, power outage, killed out their AC. It's 105,000 degrees in Arizona where they live. So, they're listening right now from, I don't know, a hotel or something because it's the only place with fucking air conditioning.
And we're giving him a big old shout out and wave.
That's right. Yeah, we love those too, but I swear to God, if aliens ever come down from outer space, the first place they're gonna land is gonna be on top of wherever they're living. I'm just saying that building's not gonna make it. They will. They're incredibly tenacious, but they're She's gonna come out of the rubble with a cat under each arm. He's just gonna be like, son of a bitch, kicking rocks out in the parking lot. It's just how it's gonna be. It's awful. I feel for them, but in this scenario, they did make first contact. So I mean, they are now world famous, and most of their problems will be over. So good for you guys. Thanks for making first contact for us. Oh yeah, the show. So, you're of course listening to us over at twitch.tv/RPMMO. We do this every Saturday at 7 Central Time. The why? I don't know anymore. It's madness. It's madness. Of course, we are actually a podcast too, so you can do it us at iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever they call it now, wherever free podcasts are sold on Android. So check us out. If you're listening to us live over at Twitch, subscribe or like or follow or whatever the little buttons all over that thing are. We do appreciate it. We also want to give a special thanks to all of our Patreon donors, especially those at the Raid Boss level, the Truth Bob, over at patreon.com/RP, hiccup into the microphone radio. RPMMO radio over at Patreon. So we appreciate that. Has everyone had a pretty good week? I'm going to do a little filler here because, I mean, why not? I mean, how's your Jazz?
Yes.
How have you guys started school yet? I mean, everyone loves school talk.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, well, that's boring, so let's move on.
Yeah, they had their first day, so they're all back at school.
I have to
now.
say, as bad as being an adult is, I don't miss going to school. At least what I do during the day that's boring and mind-numbing and makes me want to hang myself, I get paid for.
Truth.
Right?
My kids would agree with you.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's a rough time for them, and I don't think.
Yeah, they're teenagers, they're boys, and
yeah, But this school isn't the best, so we're probably switching schools next year.
It's a public school. How bad can it be?
I don't really honestly think it's a bad school scholastically, but I think that the folks here are not technologically savvy, and so having my kids who are isolates them quite a bit. And as you can remember, isolation in the teenage years is unfun.
But okay, enough of that. But are they teaching them in biology about the female front hole? And and the,
yes, they've had sex education, and they were dutifully horrified. I laughed very hard.
And the penis, which is the front penis. It's not gender specific. It's just the penis now.
Oh, I see. Okay,
yeah.
Good to know.
And then there's the banus, which is in the back. The back.
No.
Yeah, the banus. This is the new terminology, Jazz. You just
It really isn't.
No, you're just a science denier, is what you are. You're just a science denier.
Can I join that ship? It seems a little
If
wrong.
that's where science is going, sign me up, Galileo. Oh, dear God. The world is mad, and that's why we role play, because even in a world of vampires, werewolves, and multiple gods that actually live among us, it still makes more sense than the front hole.
Yeah. I gotta agree with that.
Right.
There are days. It's just like, holy God. Really?
It doesn't not. I'm being dead serious about this for all. There's actually there's news about this going around. And does it not sound worse? You can call somebody
the butthole, and that sounds bad. But hey, you front hole.
That sounds so much worse. It is so much worse.
There are so much bad things that can come from that, and it's so funny that they find that less offensive than using the word penis, which or vagina, my kids both learned the proper words for things, and I had people
science
scold
deniers raising science deniers. I see how it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
let me guess. You probably believe in like global cooling, warming, climate change, or whatever it is this week too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
you also probably believe that that we shouldn't do things like put out fires in California, even though I think that's what's destroying my allergies this entire week. Yeah, way to go, California, you suck.
Jess, how do you put up with him? Ow.
You're the one
She's
married
put up-
to him, darling.
Yeah,
I know, but you put up with him longer.
You've
That's
known
true.
me longer.
That's true.
Longer.
I have, I don't know, copious amounts of wine, perhaps.
Jazz,
Oh,
you've
okay.
known me long and through hard times.
Penis.
I called you a dick.
That was the joke. I've been called worse by better.
Oh my God. Okay.
Still one of my favorite sayings. A teacher told me that once. I loved that teacher from that day forward. She was the best.
My 7-year-old corrected his teacher in school because she called it genitals, and he said, it's called a penis.
He's like that little kid from the Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah,
Girls
yeah.
have a vagina. Boys have a penis. Girls have a vagina. I don't know what to do with this information.
It was really funny. She
Oh.
she had a sense of humor about it. The principal wasn't as amused, but
Well, he's not wrong.
I
but
know,
he
'cause
just-
he
also
was-
wasn't entirely right.
she was like, "Well, genitals is a less upsetting word."
Less
He was like-
specific. Yeah.
And he was like, "But everyone has one."
Like I said, science deniers.
Yeah, so it was a very funny moment. He was like, "I'll have my mommy call and explain it to him." And he's just like getting redder and redder faced, and I was just, she was like, it was everything she could not to like fall over laughing.
Right.
It was a pretty funny moment.
Right. All right. Well, enough of this genitalia talk from a gentleman.
Uh-huh.
And you too.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. What have we been doing in role play? I was going to actually this week go with Sibh'Bae first, but since he
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
a bummer.
didn't even bother showing up.
His moment in the sun, and he missed it.
Yeah,
he
I know.
missed it.
I was
Look at that.
totally just going to give it to him. Just be like, here, dude, let's give Jazz a break. She does this every week. It's the joke's getting a little stale, I think. But then he wasn't here, so,
Yeah.
I mean, it says right here the next person after that would have been Kishmas.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I don't... He's
Really?
he's
That's
he's
amazing.
working.
Oh.
Mine's long, so I don't want to go first.
So
'cause
who's
it's
the
just-
next one?
Let's see. If we go alphabetically, starting with the females, that's Jazz. It's Jazz. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
Sorry, Jess.
yeah, I guess you're
Okay.
I guess you're still going first.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess I'm still going first. So, okay.
We love you.
Last week was my husband's kidney stone. This week it was gallstones.
No.
He might be ready to start listening about changing his diet. But it did
More
make-
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, no. And that was on Friday, so he just had been feeling crappy all week, and it was just a very long week all the way around. So, I got some role play in, but most of it was spent just managing guild stuff and preparing for guild stuff because we had a couple events coming down. Let's see. So, Kia is back in the cycle of things. Her baby is... I'm aging him to 6 months at this point. I'm aging her to 6 months at this point. So she, while still breastfeeding, now has a wet nurse. And we rolled and we figured out that we were going to do this. So she has a wet nurse and Daddy's been taking care of her more. So Kia can leave the house and go to guild stuff. So that will be nice and get her back into the swing of things. Cial has, after that event last week where her mentor pissed her off and she tried to kill him, she now is walking and everything pretty much to normal. Although her memory is terrible, and that has been a lot of fun. That's we had a couple of times where Cial was like, "And who are you?" I know you. Oh, yeah, cool. At tavern night on Thursday for the guild, Cial was talking to someone behind the bar, and one of the gentlemen, Stranrick, walked up behind her, and they have this ongoing kind of big brother, little big sister thing going on where they torture each other. Mm-hmm. He walked up behind her and poked her. Now, normally this would have resulted in some funny antics. Instead, she jumped half out of her skin, whipped around and tried to stab him, grabbed him by the neck and put the dagger to his neck and went somewhere else. She wasn't really seeing Stanrick. Her mate tried to her mate tried to intervene and got sliced. And the downside is that because she's been so paranoid and not really telling anybody, she has silver on all of her daggers. So, being that he is of the hairy persuasion, he had some healing to
Russian?
do.
Kind of looks
He's a
like
werewolf, you dork.
Oh.
So that was bad. So that was a fun little event on Thursday. Friday was the big event, and did not go down without a hitch, but it ended up well in the end. And we did have Seldreni RP, which is the Telvanni RP, and it went really, really well. It was a lot of fun for me, even though most of the people were involved in the event. I was busy RPing on Sully in various things, and Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because my screen just went blank, and I was like, oh. I got it back on there. So Sully has been the most fun to play of late because there's a lot of, and as you know, I love dark RP. I love intrigue and spying, and she has spies that are working for her who do all kinds of stuff for her, and she's keeping tabs on all of these people. One of the most fun moments was when she was called in to talk to her father, and he pointed out that one of her spies needed to actually work for everyone, not just her, and she was going to have to recuse herself from his immediate control, or it would appear that she was dictating him, and then he wouldn't be able to advance. So it was funny because up until now, her father has seemed fairly clueless about all of her machinations. And in that one little moment, she discovered that he is perfectly aware of a lot of her shenanigans. So it was very, very funny, and it was a lot of fun as I had to roll dice on her reaction, and they ended up having a very honest conversation between the two of them. And he was like, I do know what you're doing. And he told her what she was doing. And he says, and I 100% am proud of you. I'm very proud of you. You are amazing at this job, but you need to stop at this point, because if you don't, it's going to appear bad. So she sort of did what she was supposed to do and talked to him. And it was funny. We'll see where it all turns out in the end. It's a lot of fun to play a political manipulation kind of a thing going on.
If you're able to get in with people that can go along with that, that's always fun.
And so far it's gone really well. Yeah. I'm really happy with people's ability to roll with the punches, and we haven't had hardly any drama resulting from it, which makes me happy. I know that one of the gentlemen ran into some problems in another guild because they were like, you can't know this without our permission.
One of those.
Even though they were talking about it openly, and he was right there, and they hired him as a spy.
Yeah.
So when he was a spy, but he was actually working for somebody else, and he told somebody else something, and you can't do that without our permission. I love it when people do that. It's always really funny. Because I have to be like, okay, if you said it out loud and there was more than one person in the room when you were talking, you have no control over what happens to that RP lead from that point
The whole
on.
two could keep a secret if one of you is dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like Vodka always used to say, do you remember? The walls have
get
ears
your feet off the table, and why is this so sticky?
Yes, she did say that too. Anyway, she used to say the walls have ears and the ears have legs.
Yeah.
To let people know that if you're talking out loud and you say something out loud that's secret, there's a good chance it's going to get discovered. So shut up.
Yeah, if you're doing anything in spatial chat, period, and if you actually want privacy, you need to go into group chat, or you need to be in like a locked like home or something that nobody else
Right.
can get into. That's
And even if you whisper it, somebody could magically listen. I mean, that's just the way it is, or people can God mod and say
I
that they
meant
heard it.
like in like like if you whisper like /
Oh no,
tell.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm talking
But if somebody
about
leans
like,
over, is like emotes, like mutters under their breath, like well, you never know. There's some of those ears aren't just for show. So
yeah, somebody could still hear you. And not to mention that people, this was always fun for me with Vodka, in a magical world where all the elves have telepathy, people are thinking out loud, basically.
That one was, yeah.
They're telling you what they're thinking. Now, body language, expression, where your eyes go, all those 3 things alone can be used to tell what you're thinking if you're really
it's
good
not
at
hard.
it.
Just
And
like you do how much of the communication do they say is body language over verbal?
Yeah.
It's like
An amazing
it's the
amount of
majority
it.
of it is actually through your body language.
60 to 70% is body language.
Yeah.
The words that come out of your mouth don't mean that much if you don't
Yeah,
have
it
intonation
totally-
and everything else.
Which is why typing is such a shit way to roleplay at times.
It is because as humans, we're basically deaf. We're
Yeah.
only hearing the words. We're not hearing
and
anything
we,
else.
whatever shit attitude we may or may not have at the time gets superimposed over those
Yes.
words.
And it's just human. It's just human nature.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
the way it...
'Cause
So
we're stupid.
if you telepathically say something and somebody's telepathic and you're saying it out loud, by the laws of telepathy, if
it could
you're
be.
thinking that loudly, then somebody may be able to pick it up if they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what you look at, it's going to be bad. So
But
anyway,
if you're just doing it like, hey, I'm going to go kill this guy over here. We got someone hired to do it. You can't know that because we haven't given you permission, though.
yeah, that's just complete BS.
Right.
So anyway, he came to me and asked me about it, and I told him, dude, this is the rules right here. And I listed them for him. And I'm like, you haven't broken any rules as far as I'm concerned.
They're
So if
just
they
being
do
petty.
come to me and complain, I'm going to tell them to get their panties pulled up and start acting like grown-ups, because that's not how it works. So, and I've done it before to other guild leaders who've come to me and whined about stuff like that. It's like, was it said in the open? Well, yes, but it was at a guild event. And you can 100% vouch that every single person there didn't tell somebody else who told somebody else who told somebody else. Well, no, then shut up.
Yeah. There's always, that's what it's
I
called
never-
roleplay. It's a leak. You got the leak.
Yeah. So anyway, other than that, this type of roleplay has gone really well.
Good.
On Zasher, most of my roleplay was off screen. As you know, I roll dice and kind of come up with off-screen events by what the dice tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted in a journal event, one of the things that happened was that Zasher had a fling with someone in a ruin who turned out to be a werewolf. And he didn't even think of that, of course. And starts feeling achy and sick, and then they sent him a message, said, hey, come back to the room, we want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. And so he did. But he took Kiz with him this time, because Kiz was like, are you stupid? It could be a trap. So he went along with him. And Kiz agreed to this, of course. I cleared it with him first.
Right.
And then he got jumped. And then after it was over, of course, Kiz was like, we were just in a fight with 4 werewolves. We need to go get a cure now, before the next moon. So I knew, Osili, that he was infected. But he didn't know.
Yeah.
And so he took the cure in time, so he's not. But he was stupid. And Kiz is reading him the right act ever since. Because he's like, dude, stop meeting random people in cemeteries. It's not healthy.
That's how you get dead.
Yeah. So he's like, well, I guess I should be
How
more
you get
careful.
something.
Yeah, you'll get something, that's for sure. So yeah. So that was all of my RP. Wasn't as busy as I would like, but it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah. What about you, Sibs?
Sibs. So I had another busy week of RP. I'm still working on this with Sibh'Bae to evolve the relationship of my orc Voli and his high elf Altamir Jathalis. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of stuff. I don't usually go into that kind of RP, but everything has been just a blast, and had a lot of fun with it. And I'm looking forward. There's a couple of stories coming up with his character Trithalis and my character, and hopefully, it includes the guild Alanu. So I'm really excited about all that. And then the main story I was going to share was on my little clergy and the servants. I got her. She got to go on our pilgrimage, her first one, and I've never done anything like this. I've never played a character like this, and it was really different. And when they tell you you're gonna go, they kind of give you an idea of what to expect. But I'm the type of person, I hate the unknown. It drives me nuts. If I'm gonna walk into something, I want something written out so I can read it and see what's gonna happen. Well, I had no clue, so I ended up going along, and we all met up at the Abbey, and there was 3 clergy, and I think there was like probably about 5 ordinators that went along, which it was kind of nice to have all the support. And so we started out, and they ask you questions and about a saint, which was Saint Rhymes, and I had wrote reports on it and stuff, so I knew a lot about it, but trying to type and walk, that's not my forte. And they don't slow down. I know, like, you're booking it and you're like trying to type. I finally just gave up. I was like, okay, I'm just going to copy and paste this. So when they would ask a question, I would just find it in my little report I wrote, and I would copy and paste it. And by the time we got to the Shrine of St. Rhymes, I don't know if I'm saying that right or not, but she had passed, and it was really a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea because of the fact that in the clergy part of the Abbey, you do a lot of writing. You read a lot of lore stuff.
A lot of research stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of homework.
And to me, I enjoy it a lot. But
Heard.
Oh, sorry. You're hurting my feelings.
I got
now.
nerd stuck in my throat. I love nerds.
Anyway, so I'll be a nerd. I don't care. I'm okay with that.
Stop picking on the nerd.
Hey,
There's
Sibh'Bae showed up.
It's Sibh'Bae! Woo!
But to finish up, I know it's. I wish I had more time to do stuff like this, but I don't, because my time is so limited, and I do actively play in 2 different guilds. So, but it was a sense of accomplishment to me to actually be able to go on this and do it. But I did at the end ask one of the head clergy people. I was like, Curate Miras, are you allowed to stop and answer these questions as we're going along? And she's like, no, you're not supposed to. And I'm like, well, crap. And so I told her, I was like, well, the only way I can answer them is to copy and paste. And she's like, it's okay. I had to do it too. So yeah. I didn't feel so bad after that. I was like, okay.
That's definitely not something everybody can do. I've learned that a long time ago. I'm not too bad at it, but especially
I've gotten better at the whole auto walk and then type.
Yeah, well, it's just really just a matter of speed and making sure you point yourself in the right direction. But this path they were taking, it was the path, so it was real windy. It was lots of jukes and janks and stuff like that.
Type that fast.
Yeah.
I really can't.
Yeah.
And so, but at least I knew where to get the answers that they were looking for. I mean, I was like, okay, even though I'm not typing them out, at least I knew what they were. So
second monitor for the win.
I earned that. But no, that was my stories for this week.
Cool. Hey, Sibh'Bae, welcome back.
Hey,
You missed your chance to go first, sir.
Yeah, we were going to let you go first, but since you and Kishmas weren't here, we got stuck going with Jazz yet again. You know, it was it's just how it went, you know.
That going first is a myth.
No, we were totally going to do it this time. We were
dang.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were absolutely. I mean, no question about it. I had it written down somewhere.
Somewhere.
Spanky ate it. Who knows?
Probably. He's as
my
fat
God.
as he is. I mean,
Jinx.
what?
We owe Jazz a Coke.
Sibh'Bae. So did you have any roleplay you want to go over, or are you still waking up?
I'm crawling out of the Benadryl haze. I can kind of piece it together if you want.
Okay, go. This will just be entertaining just for the sake of it. And now, the drug haze, Sibh'Bae.
Or to say the after effect. I missed Temple Night Monday because I had called in sick, so I didn't even get on. Had some stuff going on. But on Trath, Poacher Night went over well. There's my phone. And everyone seemed to have a lighthearted mood. I didn't write anything up because I overslept today. So
yeah, you're all right.
Yeah, I'm right in the frying pan. Let's see. Hang on a second. I gotta turn this thing off.
It keeps reminding me of that Law and Order dun dun, but really high pitched. Ding ding. It's like if it was Law and Order Halfling Division. Ding ding.
The irony is, it's all you guys text me. I'm just not getting it.
That was like,
wake up, bum.
That was
up,
like
you're missing the
45
show.
minutes ago.
It's a Windows phone, you expect.
Oh yeah, well, Godspeed.
Apparently not.
So yeah.
All right, let's turn it off.
Okay.
Okay, so no poetry hour went well. We had to add an addendum of please keep your content to 15 minutes to maximum so that everybody had a chance to read, because last week we had some folks that did some 30-minute performances and people were like, oh my goodness, what do we get into? So that went over well. Trath, of course, read a saucy poem for Volley. Everybody went ooh and aw, and it was good.
Aw.
He got drunk that night. He overindulged in me. He started early. He was a little too jovial. Went to sleep. Tried to go to sleep early. He got hijacked on his way, but he still slept well. The next night, Guild Hall at the Guild event at LNU, showed up. We had we had Micah and some other folks we hadn't seen in a while show up. That was good. Everybody was chatty. Of course, Strandrick did a great time doing his performances of an Argonian uprising while stealing Argonian robes. I know. I reminded him, OOC, that hippity hoppity Argonians are
done with property.
Argonians are done with property. Whoa, Benadryl. Ugh.
Oh,
anyway,
you're gonna be fun.
Hey man, this is like Gormal just woke up. Be careful.
It'll be like tomorrow. You'll be like, "So you did a good job on that show, Sibh'Bae. I was on the show."
I find out Monday at work and I crank on Spotify and I'm like, what was I saying?
Dear God, is that me?
I can only imagine what you said happened to me at the start of the show. So I'm
it
terrified.
was completely innocent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
sure.
There was something about halflings and hairy toes and jelly.
There were things like front holes were involved.
Oh gosh.
Actually, we did.
So Guild Night.
Science denier number 2.
I remember it differently, in your words.
Fake news.
So the night wore on. That's fake news, Jazz. That's fake. Anyway.
He's really distractible when he's on the
Yeah,
This is fun.
I got my ADD
Anyway,
player.
go ahead.
Guys are a bunch of pack of pirates. Love every bit of it. Anyway, the night wore on. Everybody had a good time running back to the bar to get even more inebriated. At some point, Strandrick thought it was a great idea to take a large tankard of water to sneak up on Sia after she showed up.
That's right.
And Sia, as we know, after recovering, and she's pretty much like Trajan, has PTSD now. And so he snuck up on her to dump this water on her. She turned around because her Bosmer senses were tingly. Or is it her werewolf senses? One can never tell.
Kind of the same thing.
Grabbed his
in the
neck,
Bosmer.
pulled his dagger, and took his face out. Sejora stepped in, and for his trouble, got a nice little silver cut to the arm. So the rest of the evening was buzzkills. Someone said, is there a medic? Is there a doctor in the house? And Trath aside, I'm never going to escape this imperial training of being a medicus. ever. So he went around the bar. Bully had joined him. She went to go calm Sia down. He went to heal up. So Joris, about this time, I think Sia kept looking over. Because this grand tragedy was going on, and Micah and his new wife were by the campfire, completely oblivious. It was almost funny. There's a man dying behind the bar, and they're just over there making nice. At some point, they notice, and she looks over. You gotta purge the wound. And Trav looked up, and went, right, because years of medicus training taught me none of this. Oh wait, the wound has been purged. I'm sopping up the crud, and this and that, and drawing out the poison. This drew blank stares, and anyhow, we saved his life. We calmed Sia down. The rest of the night went pretty well. Slowly, people started trickling out, and yeah, that's all I kind of remember. The Benadryl is still kind of kicking me in the head.
Well, the good news is that Friday Sia could not remember a thing. So, yay!
Oh yes, and Friday, instead of running around and role playing, I believe Sibs and Ashton were in a big RP event. I jumped in a little later in the night. She escaped, and instead of role playing, I had ported her wrong house. We were going to do a little story. We're trying to teach her trying to start to teach her how to do magic. She asked him that. We ended up playing dress up and checking out outfits and like looking at how doing it. Look at this 10-10. I'm like, where did the role play time go?
Barbie dolls.
Yeah, exactly. I was having so much fun. I was just like, okay, put on a different one.
Outfitting is the true end game.
It is. It really is.
Mhm.
Looking slick.
And
that was gaming and roleplay for me this week in my Benadryl haze. I give it back to you, Ashton.
Nice. All right. Well, for me, I'll go over something that happened actually just last night and involved one of the listeners. Jay the Exile was there. He was one of the main guys. He was the bad guy, obviously, because he's a filthy dress, and they're all bad people, especially him. So let's see here. The city of Ebonheart was a absolute bustle of activity. The citizens and shouting merchants huddled indoors as ordinators in golden armor marched through the streets. Contingents from both houses Indoril and Redorin arrived to back those already here. House Sarthos was on the march for this coastal town once again. Having already taken it once, the tribunal and two houses were not going to allow it again. Over 100 extra troops stood by as a show of force and unity. Tarvala was busy. While it wasn't a war in the strictest of senses, it was close enough that she was still a high ordinator, coordinating the troops for muster alongside the other high ordinators, keeping the citizens inside. There was always one or two curious and stupid enough to come looking out and gawking, and they prepared for the standoff. The time had come. The marching army seen in the distance, and the defenders stood at the gates of the old city. The approaching army was only a third of that of the rallied forces. All this over a Dunmer that had been infected with the lichen virus and some Nord bastard she had wed. Tarvala didn't really know or much care about the details. Duty was duty, regardless of whatever the idiotic nobles mustered their forces for. Words were exchanged, tense and loud more often than not. The very woman they'd come to rescue had killed her own husband with her bare teeth, ripping out his throat. That seemed to take the wind out of the sails of most of the aggressive army. It wasn't the tribunal or another noble, but a domestic dispute of the lichen kind. Live like a dog, die like a dog, as far as Tarvala was concerned.
Ouch.
They faced off, but the fight was gone now. Lord Sarthos blustered about a body. He got the ashes. More words, largely empty on both sides, were exchanged and shouted, and they marched off. And just like that, it was over. War might never change, but apparently, on this day, it took a holiday. So, Yeah, that was a big thing. That was huge too. They were like,
actually, yeah, I had a couple of people sending me text asking me to come, and I was like, I'm actually in my own RP, or I would.
Yeah, they were trying to get as many people there. I'm sure you got them from the servants people, I'd imagine.
No, actually, I got from people on both sides.
Oh,
so
I bet you did.
People who were like, are you going to come on your ordinary, or are you going to come on Sully? I said, Sully isn't going to touch this with a 10-foot freaking pole. So
wouldn't be worth it, yeah. But no, it was very interesting. It was easily about 100 people or so.
That's awesome.
Just on one side, and then.
And I'm amazed that it turned out that Yaz was the one that killed her husband. That's
everyone was curious what had happened. I know a lot of people. It was given the players involved, Royo and Yas something, I can't pronounce her name. They actually gave permission to be player killed. Why, I don't know, but they did, and apparently with him it actually did happen, and happened by his own wife's hand. So, it's pretty rare when it's very rare for a reason. Obviously, you don't want to.
Just to show up with Kizzy and X up stuff. It was like right in the middle of it. I didn't want to drop in, have no idea what was going on.
Yeah, well, and for a lot of for the most part, I mean, when you have 100 people there. It's a lot of standing around for most people, It was. I got some. I'm going to actually have to throw them in the wallpaper thing in the background. But it was impressive enough, and it was enough people that even without turning off the name tags, apparently there is a limit to the number of name tags the game is willing to generate. There were people next to and around me that their names just didn't show up anymore. It does
come down to your video card, but yeah. There's always going to be a limit.
My stuff is all maxed out, and then some. I actually have a few programs that make the game look a little better. But there's, 100 people. There's just
humble brag.
Yeah. Well, it's not all that much humble. It's called Reshade. A lot of people use it on a lot of games. It just puts filters over things to get rid of things like the distant fog in ESO. It can get rid of that so that you can actually see the distant stuff a little more clearly, and it actually I think it makes the game look a lot prettier, because I think fog is stupid.
Yeah, I don't understand that, because if you have good eyes, there is no fog.
Yeah.
So what do you use?
Who, me?
Yeah, what do you use to remove the fog?
Oh, it's a program called Reshade, and it basically just Reshade and Hook 64. They don't alter anything in the game but the graphics itself. They just get rid of the fog so that as far out as your graphics card can handle. The only downside to it is if you're really, really looking, if you're staring off into the distance, you can see some pop-up, which the fog would hide. But, when you're just out and about, if I'm on if I'm anywhere in the world of Morrowind, or for example, you can see almost from one end to the other, and it looks great. I'll have to take some pictures sometime and show it. Right now, unfortunately, there's a bug which, if I use it, it causes my camera zoom to stutter, so that it looks like I'm constantly zooming in and out by a millimeter every second.
Ew.
So until that came in with the newest patch that we had a week ago, so I've not been using the fog getaway part, but still the clarity of other stuff. It works. The Reshade is actually very well. A lot of games allow you to use it, so they've even said yeah, we don't care. It doesn't actually affect the gameplay. So, all right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and go to word of our sponsor. Another, apparently this one's an exhibit from Crapco. So let's see what we got here. Flibberty Gibbet here, gnomish inventor extraordinaire with Crapco. Here, with a behind-the-scenes invention you'll be shipping out soon. Now, remember, it is a prototype, so keep that in mind. What we have here is the Flaminator Mark 3.14. The final model won't be so rough with all the exposed magical crystals and that are powering it, and this little red button that I put down here that nobody ever asks about. The little red button. I don't know if you're aware of that. That's just in case of emergencies, though. I'm sure we won't need that today. So with this device, what it does is you can remove any flaw you have with a blast of high-intensity mango rays. Yes, mango rays. I invented them.
Nose is too big, ears is too small. As my assistant here can show you with a zap. Perfect? Oh my, no. I can shrink your nose back down. Just use both your hands to hold your head up. I need to get a clear shot. Hold on, I need to adjust this regulator. And, zap! And, wait, oh no. The nose is smaller, at least. I mean, but maybe one bowling ball-sized uniboob will be the latest in fashions? I don't know. Hey, what? Where are you going? No, don't cry. I can fix that too. Oh, she's gone. Oh my. I probably should have done testing this thing more. Are we still recording? We are. Oh, look forward to the newest invention coming next. The Uniboob Generator Mark 1. Only from Krakow. I'm going to be fired, aren't I? Volunteers? Anybody?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I don't know what mango rays are, but I don't want them on my face.
I mean, they're mango rays.
Yeah, that guy's really the Jar Jar somehow. I don't trust him.
I don't know. See, on the side, at least he can actually be useful.
Like put Palpatine in the seat of power.
That's right. Might have to have Lucan talk to this guy about the presidency thing. You never know where your allies might come from.
I think I need to send a squad to deal with this gnome.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, he's under
missive over to Maxim.
Gnome protection.
The Gnomish Protection Agency.
There you go.
All right. So, character flaws. I know we've kind of, sorry. Gnome voices are not easy on the vocal cords. We've kind of touched on flaws before when we did our episodes about making your characters and things like that. But it, is kind of a cursory thing, and we were trying to focus a little bit more on some stuff. So we're gonna focus on this because real flaws and why it makes things so much more dynamic. Just like you do in real life. We all have flaws. Otherwise, we'd all be very boring. Without them, I think we can all agree that perfect characters are just absolutely boring. Like,
they give your character, for lack of a better term, character.
Yeah. They give your character. But yeah,
this from the Benadryl Haze.
And without them, though, but it's boring when you talk to somebody that never quote unquote makes a mistake or thing. A lot of the people that do that, they're the ones that you've heard us talk about. They're like, oh no, I'm gonna have to retcon that because my character wouldn't get in trouble. Da,
Yeah.
da, da, da.
Just no.
Just see that pointy double chin, not double chin. What's that thing? The dimple chin. Big difference between a dimple chin and a double chin.
Yeah.
One of them is Superman. The other one is Mr. Incredible. So, like I said, the ones that always make the right choices. If they never make a mistake, they can overcome any adversity of physical or mental with the flip of a switch. They can heal super fast. They could see something. They could watch they
can be looking the opposite direction and still see what you're about to do.
Right. Like, and then, like, in Mr. Miyagi, catch the fly behind their back with their
head.
Yeah. They could watch an orphanage full of children get burned to the ground, then eaten, shit out, and then burned again, and they'll be like, that was very sad. So it's for dinner. Anybody? I got the weirdest craving for barbecue. I'm like, who's with me?
Boo.
Right?
No.
Anybody want some baby back ribs? There's a whole lot of them.
Oh, boo.
That's just bad.
Know a lot of burned orphanages, do we?
Orphanages.
Orphanages.
I love the words we create.
orphanages.
Orphanages.
To all the British orphans out there, I apologize. If you get burned to the ground and eaten as barbecue, it's my fault. There, are you guys happy? You
That was
happy?
Gormal's fault.
The legal department probably is.
Those guys are way overpaid for not being paid anything. But yeah, when they're like, oh, like I'm the best swordsman at every weapon possible, and I know every spell. It's
they're always everything. They're everything. They're a fighter and a mage and a healer and they can tell the future, and
they know every piece of the past in history. Even they know for a fact that Vishen created all the gods and everything like that, and they were there when the heart of Lorcan took away all the Dwemer, and they were there when...
And they read about it, and they know about it, and
Pretty much an Omni class, and that's not realistic.
Yes, Omni class. I like that.
Omni class, I do like that. That's
I'm going to coin that phrase. I'm glad I made that one up. That's a good.
I've had a friend. He's a good guy, but he used to play D&D with us, and he would always try to be everything, and he would always fail, and he'd get incredibly mad. But at this and this, I was like, yeah, bro, but you're too spread out in your skills. You have to focus on one thing. You're going to be weak in dialogue or this or that.
We're all level 5. You're still level 1 of everything.
So he took my words to heart, and then when we moved over to Fallout Pen and Paper, then he tried to do the same thing, except I let him do it at the cost of his perception, so he was an amazing shot. He could wreck everything, but he was blind as a bat. And he kind of hated it. He didn't stick with it too long, but it was entertaining to watch him blunder around.
Exactly. It doesn't work. You have to have those flaws.
Yep.
Though a nearsighted sniper is probably not a great one.
Oh no, he used a minigun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was entertaining. He was an entertaining guy.
People think that flaws are bad, and so they try to eliminate them, and then they make these utterly boring characters that nobody wants to interact with, and they don't understand why.
Yeah, well, because in real life, you want to, you're always supposed to be working on your flaws. Like, I gotta control my temper. I gotta not, call toddlers assholes. Whatever. I've got some issues. I get it. Little fucker had it coming. He took the last. He took the last McNugget.
He is so lying because he is a mailman, and I am on the phone with him a lot of times. And he's like,
and I'm always like, get the fuck away from the mailbox, you little shithead.
He's like, oh, they're so cute. He was waving at me, and I'm like, you big softy.
Yeah, that's just what I tell her so I don't get in trouble when I get home. But when they run up to the mailbox, I'm like, fetch, and I just throw all the letters on the ground under the car, and then peel out on them. Yeah. Like the mailman from Funny Farm, my personal hero.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, the Postal Service Internal Affairs are listening in on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to have a talk with that man.
Postal Inspector's Office.
We need to have a talk.
Yeah.
And it would be Cliff Clavin, no less. That'd be terrifying.
Yeah, there's a reason he drank after work every day.
And personally.
The same reason I do.
Speaking of Omni classes and know-it-alls, Cliff Clavin, years. Totally good idea. Good example.
Bring me more mead, woman. So.
Yeah.
No,
you
really.
Sit over there and wait on it. You just sit over there and wait on it, and yeah.
We don't have any mead in the house, so it's gonna be.
The flaws are important, though. I mean, they define part of your story, and if there's an RP arc where they're weak in that, it'll shine through and actually create other stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those
Knowing
things...
that your character has flaws is, like you said, it's one of those things that makes RP fun.
Yeah, it makes things interesting. That's when I made Tarvala. She's great with fire, great with lightning, great with earth, can make an ice cube, and can't heal for shit. She literally an ice cube's about as good as it gets for her, and she can heal a little bit, but she can't do it well. Like with magic, she can, triage training, anybody can really learn how to, wrap a wound. That's
Yeah.
not that difficult, but she can't use her magic for it. She's great with a long sword and things like that, but she's adequate with a bow and arrow. Like, she can hit the target, but she's not a sharpshooter. She's not gonna put someone out there with an apple on their head and like, hold still. It's like, oh, any other volunteers? Just move that one out of the way.
Oops.
Right.
Kiznian can do no earth magic. He's not really that great with a bow, but he's generally got a well-rounded, ability for other stuff. He's not the greatest, but Yeah, I mean, but you have to have that stuff. Rengots, when he came in the guild, he was an old man, like he was dying, and I was literally trying to get him killed, and that didn't go over well. But the fact that he was old created a lot of other stuff that happened to him, like a vampire attack.
What a failure are you that you can't even die correctly?
I blame Jazz.
Yeah, it's my fault.
She kept cranking on the life support.
Meanwhile, Xanis was over there behind it. What's this do? I need this outlet for something else.
He's over there pushing buttons.
What's this big oaf button? I'm going to push the oaf button.
Good stuff.
But yeah, without flaws, it's boring, and it creates, it creates a cohesion. It lets somebody else do something for your character that you can't do for it yourself. Like, if you're always, if you can handle everything, then why do you need other people role playing around you? Like, what's the point of having anybody? You just
And I think that comes from a lot of people playing single-person games, and they kind of role play while they're playing, and they get in this habit of, this character's alone, and then when they actually join an MMO and they start actually role playing with other people, they find out that you can't just be everything. You have to.
Yeah, you can't be the you can't. I mean, we've already said you can't be the chosen one or the what's the fucking ESO version of it? The vestige. You're the vestige. You don't play. You can't do all that. But even those characters, they still have to pick a class.
Yep.
Yeah, and they still have flaws. Even
yes, they do.
You're told that you can and can't do things.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, and it's and when it comes to the flaws, they can include. There's a lot of different. There's a lot of people just they think flaws, and they're thinking, like I don't know the magic end of a staff, or I can't heal. But there's a lot of them that conclude personality flaws. Comprehension is a good one. Like one of the greatest flaws for a character recently that everybody knows is Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. That he doesn't get metaphors. That's nothing would fly over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I catch it. It's having a character like that doesn't understand, things. It just doesn't. The comprehension isn't there.
Sometimes you get new ones. If something traumatic happens to your character, like Sia or Trajan, they literally got PTSD now from the crap they've endured.
Yeah,
like little things will set them off. And or Voli being told she's beautiful, she flipped out. I mean, completely flipped out, and that's her character flaw. One of them.
Yeah, Tarvala gets the same way. She doesn't trust when people tell her that constantly, over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, Kizdian one day is gonna say, "Hey, High Ordinator Commander, y'all, whatever the crap you are these days, nice boobs."
And that she'd at least be like, well, at least he was straightforward and it wasn't like flowery. I mean, she's already got Kishmas's character Roger every time she wears something that shows cleavage, and he just looks at her and says, "Tits."
Oh my gosh.
He's
good stuff.
Dick. But so some kind of comprehension is a good series of them. An inability to take things seriously, Kizdian.
Oh yeah.
Or the opposite, taking everything too seriously, which can be just as big of a flaw, and both of them can get you in trouble of an RP kind of trouble of one kind or another.
Zaz sometimes. Hey, the girls are looking at us. They have to like us. Kids say, "Oh no, they're just looking at your pecs. They will treat you like garbage as soon as we go in there."
They've got to like us.
That waitress is totally into me. Right. But she called me sweetie.
Yeah, Zaz's flaw is females. He has particularly well-versed females that are given with a great deal of cleavage and a nice behind. He's just lost.
Oh, no wonder he can't stop looking at Tarvala. Poor thing.
That's why Kids then looks at it and says, "You're trying too hard. Stop."
I know that from the get-go.
No touchy.
No means no, Zaz.
Yeah. Respect my womanhood. Wait. I'm so confused right now. And also a little sexy. More confused. All right, so anyway, that's the other one I had on here. Is bad at talking to women or men. Also being shy can be a good flaw. Now, with that one, you got to be careful, because if you're so shy that you never interact with anybody, that's no bueno either.
Script into the wall lurker, and then you sigh when no one talks,
right?
And you walk out.
You know, or when they do, you're like,
yeah, there's definitely, too much of a flaw.
Yeah, it's like all things. It's like it's a little bit of moderation, but being shy, there's nothing wrong with that. And conversely, being overly confident, that one obviously will get you. We all know those kind of people. They end up going in the bar like, yeah, you gotta grab her by the pussy. Yeah. I mean, I'm not thinking of anybody in particular. Just off the top of my head as an example. That people may, with narcissistic tendencies, say things like that.
Gosh.
I'm wondering.
It's Donald Trump.
Oh, okay. I was like,
that.
Wait a minute. I don't know this.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty clear when he said it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Spawned a whole line of ridiculous hats. You didn't know?
Yeah. Another good one is eating habits, like how they eat or how much they eat or don't eat, or one that's awful.
Thatcher has that one.
Yeah.
I love RPing that. He just shovels it in, talks with his mouth full.
Yeah, that's
burps.
Tarval is. She's not as bad as him, but she can pack it away. Another character, Ivul, that always gets everybody. When she eats oranges, she just eats them like an apple, peel and all.
Yep.
Yeah, and this was my grandma used to do. It was disgusting then. It's still disgusting in type. But I don't know if that's a character flaw, but it's really creepy. It's gross.
Sometimes you just need a little sour in your life.
Yeah, it's full of vitamins. Yeah, you know what? I'll just have another orange. I'll just get them that way. How's that sound? It's a lot more delicious.
Actually, there's a lot of calcium.
I don't want to hear it from you, science denier. You won't even use the new medical terms for the vagina.
Wait, what?
That's the front hole. That's the vagina.
Let's not go back into this.
Let's not start this again.
Yeah,
and
then you have the back hole, which is the base.
We can explain it after the show.
No. He needs to be caught up, so he's in on that. Yeah, it's the vagina.
I thought it was the freeness.
Well, that's if it's the quote unquote male body part. If it's the quote unquote female body part, it's the vagina.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, no, this is science now. This is, I'm a doctor, man. I'm a scientist.
Did it come off one of those documentaries?
Came from I don't know, whatever the idiot version of the other side's version of Alex Jones is. I have no idea. Oh, we lost him.
No.
We lost him. How are we going to know about the fluorides turning the frogs gay? How are we going to do it? I know. I miss him, too. I miss him. And his amazing body supplements or whatever the fuck it was he was always selling.
You don't even know what to say right now.
So, nervous tics. Chewing on your toenails or whatever, something that
I've never met one of those.
It's always it's things that have to humanize your character. It's any flaw humanizes your character and makes them more believable, because there's no such there's even people I look up to, like, that I genuinely think are amazing people, are still not perfect. People in history, Gandhi.
Gandhi was seriously flawed, gentlemen.
He was
seriously strange.
He
dude.
was racist as fuck. He hated Africa and the Africans, even though they were going through.
And he was a pedophile on some level.
Oh yeah.
And even though he was going through the same thing they were, he's like, them black people, huh? He was, but that doesn't negate all the great things he also did. Yes, but it was also, I get it, it was a different time. Or Churchill, great if you're a European, but if you were Gandhi and an Indian, not such a great guy.
Not so much.
It was,
Some of our greatest minds, even Einstein, had some seriously strange problems.
No person, no person's perfect. They all have flaws, especially
That's right.
Especially super smart ones.
It blows my mind that as we look at the public, as the public looks at these people, they're like, yeah, everything's negated because they're flawed.
Well,
so you're flawed, bro.
Flawed. Yeah, everybody's flawed. Nobody's nobody is.
Nobody passes the litmus test of the modern age. At least the quote unquote the public litmus test of the modern age. Because on individual levels, if you talk to people, they'll be like, of course, of course, there are certain lines, like there's, you undo all the good, like in the terms of Bill Cosby. All the good he did. I grew up with
I loved Bill Cosby. I was horrified when
Huxtable was like a second father to us growing up.
I know.
That's right.
And
especially
now,
when you're divorced.
And now it's all gone because he was a really, really
Such
pretty
a
bad
horrible
dude.
person.
It was a little bad. I mean,
I think as history
bit.
could have forgiven some quirks, but this wasn't a quirk. This was just awful.
Yeah, over the course of years. And it's a shame, and I still love the memories I have of that show. I would never sit down and watch it again.
No.
I
have the record somewhere, and I don't think I would sit down and listen to it anymore.
Not like I would, I've sat down and watched MacGyver again, but Richard Dean Anderson is one of the few flawless human beings on the planet. He is actually a pretty good guy.
But having a character with flaws makes them interesting. And I think whenever I design a character, partially because I use a dice system, and I use the D&D method of rolling out a character, but there used to be this really, I forget what it was a website, and you could go to it and it would help you roll out flaws. So it listed like psychoses.
Oh yeah, I think you put
remember
up
I had posted it on our website because it was so fun. It took a long time to do it, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet you could probably Google a
I'm sure I could probably find
human flaws even at this day and age. I'm sure somebody's come up with something, but
it was a fascinating because they came up with a rolling method that would make it so that it would be uncommon for you to actually get these flaws.
Yeah,
but
and I would say you almost if I would say at the very least, for every 2 positive traits you give your character, you should give them at least 1 negative of some kind. It doesn't have to be ground baking, send them into a fetal position bad, but they bite their nail. It's something, some annoying flaw or some personality flaw,
I've always
all sorts of things that you can do.
If you give somebody a big positive trait, like they're immune to fire, then you have to also give them a huge flaw.
Mm-hmm.
If you give them a little thing, then you give them a negative little thing, and it has to balance out always. And, I
like
don't
the
understand why
myself,
more people don't do that.
Yeah, it's. I think it comes down to like I said, in real life, we are always trying to negate our flaws in every way. So when we're creating a character, most people, when you're really not thinking about it, you're like, well, I don't like this flaw about me, so my character's not gonna have that, and I don't like this, so I'm not gonna have that. And by the time you get done with it, your character comes out flawless. I think that's
it
happens without thinking.
I do think that's actually maybe very good. I'm surprised. Psychologically, I think that makes a lot of sense because
that was the most underhanded compliment I think I've received all day.
I was about to say. I don't want to give you credit, but
that was remarkably insightful and intelligent. Huh. Dick.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, you're still a science denier, so shut it. Front hole.
gosh.
But no, it's just something, like I said, it's something that I don't think a lot of people, especially new role players, I think the longer you go, the more you realize, like, okay, I say that knowing some people that we role play with that still don't do that. So the majority, I think, of people will start to realize as they go on their role play career, quote unquote, that the perfect characters aren't nearly as fun as the ones that can't do it all. You know, that you realize that you are, you know, what makes you as a person are a lot of your flaws, you know. They're not all necessarily great, but my ability to ramble on and talk incessantly and often incoherently about almost any topic is kind of a flaw, but I make it work for me on a stupid podcast. You know, you can you can make a flaw into a positive, but it's still in a lot of ways a flaw as well.
Yeah.
True story.
You know,
it's a profitable flaw now.
Is that, Jazz, are you like slapping flies over there on your keyboard, or is that...
That's just me, sorry.
It's just like, whack! Take that.
Cat.
You know, I do try when I'm fishing in game. It's usually very quiet, and I don't ever have anything bad happen. But every now and then, like last week, my husband was like, what were you saying oh my about? Because like in the middle I said oh my, just for, and it kind of blended into the conversation, so I don't think anyone else really noticed. But it was because I was sitting there fishing, and for some ungodly, I'd been there for 10, 15 minutes just fishing, right? Uh-huh. And one of those big things in ESO, you know how they open up the thing and they all drop down right on your head?
The mini portals. Yeah.
Right. It just literally appeared and dropped on my head, scared the living bejesus out of me. So I was like, oh my. I had to run for my life. And I was like, what the hell?
Okay, so you slapping your space bar too. Yeah.
The troll just attacked me out of the blue when I was fishing, and I didn't even realize he was supposed to be here. So, yeah, sorry about that. Anyway.
I'm glad you fessed up, because I probably would have gotten in trouble for it. I can hear you slapping your keys over there.
Yeah! Pay attention to the damn show. Shit, women.
All I'm doing is fishing most of the time, so I don't feel bad about it. Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
Fishing and drinking. Yep, you sure are. Are you sure you're not from the South?
I am very Southern sometimes. That is very true.
Y'all. Bless your heart.
Y'all. Say y'all. I can't help it.
I can pull it out of her every once in a while, but then she tries to revert back to the Yankee talk. But deep down, she's a good one. She's a good one. She just don't like to admit it.
That's right. It's all right, darling. You can come. In the words of Joe Biden, you can come over here and sit on my lap, sister.
Oh my God!
No. He is a creepy dude.
You're terrible.
Hey, he's the one that actually does it. He's a creep.
Oh, flaws.
But so speaking of flaws, one of the flaws you shouldn't do is touching children in weird, inappropriate ways. Looking at you, Joe Biden. Creepy. Yeah, maybe there's some things like what flaws. Obviously, there's one you don't want to cross the line on because anybody. And although I will say, I know there are communities that roleplay that bullshit because they're fucking creepy weirdos. And if you do, get help for the love of God.
That is very creepy.
But you know, it's the, you know, there's some places you shouldn't take your flaws to. Another one I really don't care for. Rapists, like the ones that role play that kind of stuff out.
They're just creepy. Yeah, and they often get off on doing things to your character without your permission for obvious reasons. So, just stay away from them. They're bad.
Yeah, there's I mean, common sense, like if you know, which is funny because like we won't draw the line at someone like Strafe's character Rengots, who goes around like poisoning people's food to try to kill them. Like, that's bad, but I don't know, there's definitely a mental line there that you just shouldn't cross.
I'll never poison anybody's food. What's up with that?
He's never done that. Don't be mean.
He's thought of it. Probably. Thought police got him. You know you would have if you could have gotten away with it.
Well, if I could get... Well, yeah, that's true.
See, the Benadryl also acts like a truth serum.
Hey, man. He was literally a weapon to be used. Vodka often used him for that purpose. So go find this guy and take him out. Do I have full permission? Don't be seen. Are you sure? Yes. Tally-ho, off he'd go.
Jazz, tap the button lighter.
I'm not tapping anything this time.
So
it's not me.
Nice.
It's like
I was
Gormal
watching
keen on the recruits. That's a flaw, but he was doing it because he could get away with it until he got
Yeah,
busted.
totally.
But they had it coming. I mean, how dare they be recruits? So, and because to use an analogy that flaws make characters interact like puzzle pieces with other characters that don't have your flaw. It's like I was saying before. When one character's weakness or strength is another character's weakness or strength, and you can get along and you can bond over that, and it makes the interactions and talking a lot easier because, like I said, if everybody is perfect, how many times can you talk to people and have a conversation about how great the two of you are? Like, hey, remember that time we both destroyed that guy at the same time because we're both equally amazing? That was fun. Yeah, we should do that again sometime. Would you like to drink some mead? Neither one of us can get drunk, or we can turn it off at the switch of a hat? Yes, we should partake in the victory of alcohol. And I am buzzed, but I choose not to be now. So now I am no longer buzzed.
You do that really, really well, I have to say.
Yeah. Not pulling off of any personal experience on that one. But, it's like that's how people that's why people get married and things like that. It's the problems I have, Sib often compensates for. Her many flaws I compensate for, even in a greater detail.
What?
What?
My many flaws?
I just decided to keep it to too manys. I mean, if I had kept going on, it would have gotten really, 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 really long.
Stop while you're ahead, dude.
But that's why, that's where married couples and, and things like friendships and stuff like that. That's, the differences in the interactions between them is what makes it interesting. The years I've known Jazz, her and I have always been politically almost polar opposites in a lot of ways, but we find common ground, and we've always been friends throughout the entire thing. I know politics isn't the end-all be-all, but these days it's one thing everyone can understand. So, but we've talked.
We also handle conflict very differently.
Yeah, we all very differently. I can sometimes, there's times.
Yes, do keep going.
No, there's times where you went over the top and I was there to calm you down, and there's times where I got pissed off and I went over the top and you were there to do the opposite.
That's true.
And it's the same thing. That's it's I'm not married to you, but that's often how marriages go. When you're when one of you's yelling at the kids for being completely fucking useless chore doers, the other one's like, just calm down. It's all right. They're gonna get it done.
Yeah,
unless you're both having that
well.
day, and then you're both like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And they get it double barrel, in which case they probably really screwed up.
Yeah, if we're both yelling at them, they know that
you done fucked up, son.
Because usually one parent thinks it's bad, and the other parent is like, calm down.
And in guilds and roleplay, one guild leader or officer will be like, listen, you need to get your shit together.
Is Kishmas here? I thought I heard Kishmas.
Listen. Kishmas is not here, but the spirit of Kishmas remains. So
that's right.
Calm down.
It's the Kishmas spirit.
The Kishmas.
The Kishmas spirit.
Oh, geez, that is so bad.
So bad.
And yet, all three of you laughed at that stupid pun.
Love it.
Who's the more punny, the pun or the pun that puns them?
Listen.
Pun.
Solid pun is a solid pun.
No, you don't. You gotta listen. You gotta get real close to the microphone.
Listen, bro. I got this in the bag.
I said get close to it, not deep throat it. Jeez.
Oh, man.
So many things I could
He's
say to
gonna hate
that.
it so
but I'm
bad
not
when he
going
hears
to.
this.
What, instructions, Jazz?
Okay, let's move on.
All right, so
This is a
yes.
family-rated show. Let's keep going.
What podcast are you on?
I was about to say.
Well, I'm pretty sure what I was about to say is completely
Oh,
inappropriate
yeah, you
for
probably
most
would have gone
people.
too far, which is
Yeah.
why we work well together, because
Yes.
I'm here to say no, Jazz. No.
No means no, Jazzy.
That's right. But like I was saying, there's, the flaws of the people around us are how, we sync up and, it works for everyone. As long as you're, to keep going with the puzzle analogy, as long as you're all from the same puzzle, all the pieces, are going to fit together. All your flaws, all your strengths, all your weaknesses, all that stuff, it's going to fit together and it's going to look great when you're done. Just like it is in real life as it is in role play. There's the problem comes when, someone's flaws come from like a completely different puzzle. Say your puzzle's the Millennium Falcon. Awesome. It looks good. Now the other puzzle comes in with its pieces and they're trying to be, they're a puzzle of like gothy vampires howling at the moon. Those two just as an example.
Sorry.
Those two puzzles, no matter how you might mash the pieces to try to get it to fit, it's never going to make a coherent picture.
Oh, I'm cutting them. They're going to fit.
And it's still not going to make a coherent picture.
Yeah, but they're going to fit.
You're not going to get the Millennium Falcon out of Three Wolf Moon. I'm just saying.
That's the truth.
Right. So, but as we all have, we all have our own pieces and flaws, so to speak, but they're never going to mesh. It's if you're too, it's just like that. There's people just like there are in RP, there's people I can barely stand to talk to them without being a flippant little piece of shit. There's people like that in real life that I can barely stand to talk to because they're completely butt stupid and often they're in a managerial position.
Ain't it the way?
Right. Anyway, but and it's very hard to hold your tongue and stuff. You're never going to get along with those people. Their personality and their flaws just grate on your nerves, and it's never going to happen. And there's certain people like that when you're role playing that they're both their real life personality and their character's personality and flaws are just, it's just going to be like, like the stuff that I've been role playing with these guys forever. The stuff they come up with, I think is cool, and I think I find it interesting, but somebody else that I think is a complete moron might do this exact same thing. And because I just, it just the way, maybe it's the way they, pull it off or the way they go about it, it's just eye roll worthy, and you're just like, that's just really, it's just dumb. You're dumb. Go away, dumb. Dumb.
Dumbhead. To the door.
You doo-doo brain. So, it's just how things go. People aren't, you don't have to get along with everybody, and when it comes to character flaws, like Xanis and Rengots, they were rivals. They were all their flaws and all their characteristics were the antithesis. Antithesis. Thank you. Antithesis.
It's like Jedi and a Sith going at it all the time.
But we. It was, it was really more of in a lot of ways, I always thought of us as the Magneto Xavier thing.
Oh yeah.
Like
Totally.
they could get along in periods of peace if they have to, and when things came together. But at the same time, they were also, when something switched, they would work against each other, and one would, Xanis would, of course, prevail over Rengots every single time because he was the good guy, and that's just how it had to happen.
Not every time.
Every single time.
There's a threat to the guild.
Every single time.
If there was a threat to the guild, they would work together for the boss, a.k.a. Vaca, defeat the evil. And as soon as the evil was over, Ren was calculating, now how can I turn this into a moment of weakness and stab him straight in the back?
Right, and then he was always prepared for it because he knew that was coming. It was the dynamic they had, How is he going to try to screw over somebody else in the guild and all that stuff? It's just, but
it was fun.
But in OOC, him and I obviously mostly got along.
He could count on that flaw from Ringos to try to take it to the dark side.
Right. And he could, as Rengots would see it, he could count on Xanus's good nature and, chivalry, so to speak, as a sort of flaw. And it's, he was
the weakness of his embrace of Tunar surface culture.
Yeah, it made him predictable that he would go out of his way to stop, whatever he was planning to do. That was just the dynamic. And if you can find a group of people and friends that you're, especially that's in a rivalry sense, that makes one of the best rivalries. If you can find somebody like that, definitely definitely hold on to them, because it doesn't come around very often, and it's a lot of times those things can lead to OOC problems and issues.
Yeah, if you find someone that works really well with your character and can OOC and IC handle the conflict, inner conflict between your two sets of flaws, it is fantastic, and it's a good idea to try to keep a hold of those people and keep them near you, because I will tell you it's rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hold on to my little group here because it's rare to find somebody that doesn't get butthurt every 5 seconds because your character lied to them, which always baffles me because my character is going. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's another good flaw: lying. It's amazing in roleplay how many people will just they just assume everything, if it's said out loud from the character, that it has to be true, that nobody in character would ever lie to other characters. It's something a lot of people don't seem to even ever consider. And if they do, then they're like, well, why did your character lie to me? That's, your, they'll take it OOC and be like, well, you deceived me. It's like, well, no, my character did. I wasn't about to tell you out of character, unless you asked. Well, you lied. And so, I went off on all this information that you gave me, and it was incorrect. Well, yeah, it was a lie.
Yeah. And I've had that particularly with Doll because she's a sociopath. So she will lie. And I've had people say, is she telling the truth? And I'll be like, well, no. Well, then my character can tell. No, probably not, because she's a sociopath and she can lie to anybody. So if you suddenly know she's lying, I'd like
then
you to
you're
tell
metagaming. Yeah.
Yeah, because
there's
no
nothing
way
wrong
for
with
you
being lied to.
Yeah.
People lie to you every day. Have a nice day. I lie to people all the time.
Not to OOC lie.
Right. Now there's where you don't
And I've had a lot of people do that where they don't want their plan to get exposed. So they will OOC-ly hide it from you.
Right. And if that's the case, instead of lying, just say, I want it to be a surprise.
Right.
I do it all the time.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. If you're like, I would really prefer not to tell you because I want things to be organic.
Yeah, I want it. I don't want you to have forewarning. There's certain things, a lot of the events I do, I talked to Sib about them before, but if I got a really good one that I already had, it's fully fleshed out, I don't tell her. I'll tell her I've got an idea and I'll give her a quick outline, but I don't tell her. I'll be like, if you want, I want it to be a surprise.
Like, okay, is this going to happen? He's like, stop asking
me
questions about it.
I'm not going to tell you, woman.
I want to know.
And see, Ren knows I like to know. Mm-hmm. And that I won't metagame. But he'll always say, do you really want to know? Mm-hmm. And I'll usually admit, no, I really don't. I want it to be a surprise. But I do like to know. And
sometimes
I won't
she'll
metagame.
say yes anyway.
Yeah, but sometimes I'll be like, okay, yeah, tell me.
Fangirl, but I want to know.
Tell me how it ends.
And so I'll give her a little Easter egg and be like, okay, this. But I won't tell her the whole deal. I'll just give her enough to fend her off for a little while. But it's also
important to understand, particularly for my personality, when I go into a bookstore, I read the end of the book first to decide if I buy it. So, and I'll still buy the book if I like it. And I'll read the whole book knowing how it ends. I don't care, because if I like it, I'm cool with it. But people are like, you do what?
I was thinking that right now. I'm like, holy crap. You're just blowing my mind. You're blowing my mind.
Somebody will be like, well, I saw the movie, and I'll be like, tell me how it ends. No, I don't want to spoil it for you. You won't spoil it for me. I'm still going to go see it. I just want to know how it ends. It's less stressful for me that way. And they're like, oh, okay, so they'll tell me, and I'll still go see it, and I'll love every minute of it. But knowing how it ends I like that. So I'm weird like that. And I don't take it. If somebody tells me the way the event's going to go, I won't metagame because I enjoy the idea of seeing how my character, because I roll dice, I enjoy seeing how my character's going to respond because it's not me.
Yeah.
And I roll dice to make sure that it's not me. So
I kind of like how excited she gets over story arcs. So I have to give her a few, tidbits of.
He's such a good story writer, and his stories are so
the worm
fun.
in front of her, yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
that sounded wrong.
Because he does intrigue just about better than anybody I've ever met. And you do. It's so fun. And that's one of the reasons why we've been such good friends for so long is because he's had story arcs and little zigzags that I never saw coming. And that's not easy to do. And I'm always just so thrilled when he throws a curve at me that I didn't see coming. So,
I was laughing at the worm part from Xanax as a double entendre, but yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I have to throw out this little bit on Jazz's saying about the intrigue story. Okay, I put together just like a little thing for Sibh'Bae's character and my character, and Jazz's character and another character were following along behind us. And okay, we're going along on this little horse ride, and we're going to go look at some Iliad ruins. And we're in a party. So Jazz is asking, am I going to be able to see anything? Is anybody following us? And so I start getting paranoid out of character. And I'm like, what's going on? Because she's so expecting something to happen with Sibh'Bae, going to do something like a surprise or something. And so I'm excited. She's excited. And it was just...
Because it's what he does.
Nothing ever happened. We were like...
That's by design, darlings.
We were both like on edge, like, what was that? It was just a lot of fun.
That thing, did it mean anything? Oh, somebody coming? Oh my God, what's going on?
Because she was so excited about it. I got excited. And so we're just like both feeding off each other. And he's just like, nothing is happening yet. Nothing is... He was like, it's okay.
Well, you two stop it. Nothing's happening.
There's a butterfly.
It was so much fun because I was just feeding off Jazz, getting excited, and I'm like, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun.
Expecting that twist, like Trath wasn't really Trath or something ridiculous that night. And I kind of grinned. I was like, oh man,
it was
they
a lot
don't
of fun,
even
though.
know. Yeah, it was fun.
Because he has stuff up in mind, see, so I'm always expecting to land on me at any given time. It makes it so much fun. But anyway, yeah, so flaws. I'm on a tangent. But that's part of what makes it fun for me is because my characters are loaded with flaws. Kia has a hair trigger temper. She is a fire mage. And if you piss her off, you're just as likely to get struck by lightning or have your feet set on fire as you are to get yelled at. So it makes it a lot
standing
fun.
inside the fire.
Yeah. Whereas Sully has a slow burn, and she'll get you later. So, it's fun to come up with this, and I think far too many people are unwilling to give their character flaws. And honestly, it just makes your character so much more fun to interact with, particularly if we don't know your flaws. Please, God, don't go into OOC and start listing off all the reasons why your character does what they do and why they're flawed and what happened when they were 6.
That's
and
not fun.
Oh my God, stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
It's always fun. You got to take the time to role play out.
Yeah.
This
Let
stuff.
it come out. Like when Kia got up in front of everybody and talked about the day she was found by her foster father, nobody knew that about her until that day.
Yeah.
And when they realized that that's part of the reason she is the way she is, it made sense. Then they were like, oh, no wonder she's like this. So, yeah.
It's that word that phrase you always use. It's very organic.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, you
I
don't
really like to keep it organic. And I think that if you're designing a character, even if you're new at it and you didn't start off that way, you can always say, well, he does this because this, or his flaw is this, and I've noticed I do this all the time with him. So this could be his flaw. As human beings, we give our characters flaws whether we want to or not. It's in the way that we role play them. So
yeah, it's a lot of times our own flaws will leak through. Like if you take things a little too personally, a lot of times your character is probably going to do the exact same thing. Your personal flaws in your character is not something you should strive for unless you're aware of it. That way, you know, it's your character getting upset or mad, not you know.
And that's when you start making your character too much like you, looks like you, acts like you, drinks when you drink, has your same birthday, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be too easy. I do the birthday thing
just so I can remember.
But it's easy, right? It's easy to remember. And I'm fine with that, one or two things. But I know people, one person in particular that no longer plays with us that used to, his character looked exactly like him, acted exactly like him. He named his other characters after his children.
Ooh.
I mean, it was way, and I told him on several occasions, darling, that's not healthy. Because now when somebody goes after that character, they're going after your son.
Yeah,
how are
if
you
somebody
not going to get upset?
It mocks your in-game son, or like, you know, like I a lot of times I screw up. I purposely screw up, and that's one of the character flaws I do, mostly because I think it's funny. But a lot of my characters are really bad with names. So like they'll meet you once, they'll be like, "Oh, hey, I remember you," and if they meet you again, they'll be like, "So your name was Sibh'Bae? Lesbian?" You know, it just goes. And people are like, "No, it's Jazzy B." It's like, "Oh,
that
yeah, that's right."
Fast.
But you know, it's a memory flaw because I suck. It's one of those things because I kind of suck at remembering names, like really bad. I think it's kind of funny. So because I mean, obviously, I'm not going to forget names in a game because I can read it. So a character that can't remember I like the irony of a character that can't remember names that I'm like physically able to see above your head.
Gormal would do it on purpose. Kind of, he would never. Okay. So the thing, the caveat about Gormal was he could speak fine Ukeshan, but common he could only speak it really broken like. So when you tell him you would tell Gormal your name, he would like butcher it on purpose so he could remember it.
Yeah,
that was his flaw. He'd remember the real one later, but he would never call you by your real name. So for instance,
that's so funny.
Natish ended up becoming his friend, and he would first time he saw her, he's like, what's your name? It's like, oh, it's Natish. Oh, Natty Flies, because she was a fae, had wings.
Yeah.
Or Midnight, one of our old dark elves used to hang around with us. He was like, hey, what's your name? She's like, my name is Midnight. Da 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 da. This da 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 da. He's like, Mid-fight, huh? All right. Mid-fight. I remember that.
Mid-fight. Yeah.
So all kinds of ridiculous stuff.
And he always called Triton 10 trolls.
Right.
10 trolls.
With a strength of 10 trolls.
But yeah,
funny.
And you know, it's just little things like that. We got a few examples here that we'll go into. We got a little extra time here. So one of them that was funny enough that she was trying to think of character flaws that she has, and she's like, I can't think of any like physical flaws and things like that. There was one that I pointed out to her.
Yes, I was thinking on flaws today, and I told him, I said, I don't know. I can't think of. I've got the one Aragonian that's got a flaw, and he's like, Bully has a flaw, and I'm like, no, she doesn't. He goes, yes, she does.
Oh, yes, she does.
Yeah, that face. Am I right?
No, but no, I was like, oh my gosh, I play her. She is an albino orc, and it has caused her so much grief story-wise in her life. And so I was like, oh yeah, that one's
she's
okay.
An albino and an orc. She's
Yeah.
But she's also super duper sensitive about being told she's pretty.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because of
that's a flaw.
Because she's an albino, she's not quote unquote perfect like all the other orcs. So, when someone says you're pretty when you're the freak, so to speak,
it sets her off. It really is one of her buttons. But yeah, that one went right over my head. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what her flaw would be. Her temper?
Yeah, it's like, no, and that's one of those things, like, for, the lack of an eye or things like that, there's, scars or a bum knee. There's all sorts of little flaws that you can put into a character that they might not be groundbreaking, but they could, the old timer, damn knee, my old war injury's acting, that must be a storm on the way. It comes up every now. That kind of, it really is little things like that make a character so much more believable,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we have all had those, you know, I mean, most of us have had that grandpa that's like, you know, damn shoulders, it's out again, damn thing, hold on, gotta, or my my Papa Allen, when I was a little boy, his back wasn't great, but I didn't weigh a lot. Mike, walk on my back. So he's laying in bed, and I'm like holding onto the banister, like stomping on his back with my little feet. He's just, I can feel underneath it.
Pop, pop, pop.
But it was fun because I got to stand on Papa Allen. He's just, you know, and then he'd be like, "No, don't jump." And then after a while, I got a little too big for that. He's like, "Oh my God." Is that a rib? Maybe when I'm 38, it shouldn't be walking on your back, Grandpa.
Oh, gosh.
240 pounds later. But, you know, little things like that. You know, there's, like I said, the eye patch, bad aching joints, old war injuries. Just there's so many little things that you can work into a character that just, you know, it gives them that extra little something that makes them that much more believable. You know, nobody...
Trath.
Go ahead.
Trath, for example, he's a fallen lord. He's been trying to spend his whole life to redeem that to the point where it's almost impossible. And his twin brother's actively working to keep him in the dirt, trying to prove some other point. But he always tries to seek to get that status that he can never grab. And it is in itself a flaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything can be a flaw.
And he's pushed it to try to better himself. He's tried to make it work for him, but at the end of the day, some days he'll just break down because he can never achieve what he's lost. He can never redeem his parents. He can never do this. He can never do that. He deludes himself thinking, no, I can do this. I can do this. Just one more day. Just one small event. I can change it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that kind of, you know, that kind of goes into the other one that Rahanar put in here too. Like he put in speech impediments and things like that. Like different. Yeah. It's not necessarily a flaw, but you know, accents are always a good thing too. But you know, various speech impediments, people that stutter and things like that. But flaws that can be overcome. You know, they may never go away, but you can actually overcome them. Like, you know, one of these days, you know, you never know how things will go with Strathalis. Maybe he is able to overcome all that, you know, get back in the good graces of whatever and all this. Who knows what kind of role play. It could happen. Don't know. But it's something that, of course, he would strive for and continue to strive for. Like you were saying, it's something that you try to overcome. You know, like if your character's has a short fuse and things like that. You know, maybe there are times where, you know, as they progress, they would have gone ballistic and started a fight. But maybe as Jazz would roll, you know, the character's gotten enough that the roll is a lot easier to make. And this time they ground their teeth and they get right up to the edge and then they back off for a change. Yeah. You know,
it will be fun because he's got a second flaw coming up. His heart is going in a completely different direction from what his original goal was. So that's going to come into conflict at some point. So you have two different flaws working against each other, and that's always fun.
Yeah, and that's perfectly, you know. I like what there's people talking to the chat. Insomniac, Smiling Sorcerer. The Insomniac was saying that they don't like full-on self-inserts, but you know, every character includes little aspects of myself, which I understand that. I mean, I don't think anybody can ever not be some part of their own personality.
Oh no,
it's just but the full on self inserts, that's always dangerous. But the other one Smiling Sorcerer has is his orc had a bum knee and is very forgetful mind, but they're super smart, which that's always a good one because I can speak from experience. Our son, straight A student, very talented athlete, has the common sense of a rutabaga.
It is really,
and he's
really sad.
Super forgetful.
Yes.
You know, but he's very, I mean, he's very smart, very, very knowledgeable, and he can learn very well. But it's just, you know, if you're going to have a super intelligent character, you know, you definitely, you know, maybe their memory's a little wonky, or
And that's actually a pretty common one, by the way. People that are very educated tend to be very forgetful. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, and it's just it's just like we were talking about the character flaws of famous people in history. People like you were saying, Einstein having his flaws, Steve Jobs, what's the Facebook guy's name? All these guys Zuckerberg. He's very Zuckerberg. He's very robotic. He's
very unaffected when he talks.
Right.
And it's obviously because he's tense, because I've seen him in some more relaxed situations. Right. And he wasn't like that at all.
No, but even then he's still a little off.
Yes, he has a very, very flat effect.
Right. Yeah, and Steve Jobs always wearing, that's one of those things you find out about, like geniuses and things like that. Like some of the things that they pull out of their life is like the ability to pick clothes. Like he just wore it's like it's just one less thing I need to use my mental energy on. So I'm going to wear the slacks and a black turtleneck all the time. That's it. That's all my wardrobe's going to consist of. That's literally why he did it, and no other reason. So let's see here. Before we close out the show, we'll go ahead and go to our call lines where we got. Yes, we do. We got Psycho Chinchilla, or also known as the Truth Bob.
The Truth Bob. Hail to
Hola.
What's going on,
Hey,
Bob?
how's it going, man?
Not bad. Accidentally deleted ESO last night. Very fun, so I gotta wait for it to download because apparently Elder Scrolls Online is not the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, so having fun with that right now, waiting for it to download it.
No.
Sorry I missed Boot Monday, sir.
You should be.
This will have IC consequences. No, I'm kidding.
So what you got, Bob?
I just want to kind of talk and just kind of point how the immersive that character flaws can kind of add to your character. I know, for example, if I didn't add character flaws to my character, Travis, I probably would have burnt out. He would have been too generic. I would have stopped. And that's one thing that I think, especially people listening that haven't made their characters, it's always interesting to make little flaws or even big flaws that you don't always show.
Yeah. And actually, you know what, you saying that reminds me of something I wanted to say. Just because, like, if you've already created your character and you didn't think of any flaws, you can find ways to work new flaws into people. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but as you've gotten older, you've gained other flaws. You may have, maybe you no longer roll your eyes when you speak, but trust me, you've gained other flaws. One of them, you said I do too.
I what?
Nothing.
What?
I love you.
Dangerous waters he's crossing with that joke.
Yeah, I would say so. You better be careful. You do share a house with her.
I love you.
She knows where you sleep.
Yeah.
She does know where I sleep.
You sleep.
On the couch tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
She knows I love her. I couldn't make a joke like that if I didn't.
I'm just saying, you got that Vader mask at night, bro. Something happens. Transitions into that Vader pod.
You say that, but there was one night where I guess I rolled over just so, and I kinked that hose
Yes.
on her CPAP.
Yes, he tried to kill me. He was trying to kill me,
She woke
guys.
up going,
If I end up disappeared, then
hey,
Disappeared.
you ain't gonna be disappeared. I'm just saying, I knows a guy what knows a guy. He knows no family, you want a free
Anyway,
you want a free
let's go back to
You want a free vacation. That's all I'm saying. But no, yeah, you can always introduce, you never be afraid to introduce new flaws. Like something...
Or creating a situation where maybe, like, mine now has PTSD. She did it before.
Yeah.
Now
exactly.
she does. I got to deal with that every time.
What was it? Evul in our Servants Guild, they used to have two eyes. Something happened. Now she's only got the one. That was a kind of a new development. Now, I personally think it's just because they were trying to be cool like Bob's character, Travis. Myself.
Well, now together they have a pair of eyes.
That's
so
right. Yeah, and then
well.
they are married too, so it does work out. But no, you're absolutely correct. And it does help keep, like, I mean, your character's backstory was good and all that stuff too. But if you had negated all the flaws that would come from being like a former Morag Tong and all the, the bad shit that he has had to do and that he would be covering up for and trying to atone for now. Like if it just, like his first week as a recruit, he's like, well, I feel better now.
Oh yeah, everything's good.
Yeah.
Everything's better.
Yeah.
On a random note, Kizdian really has the hots for freaking Evul just because she's so mean. That red hair, that punch in the face. You gotta stick
It's
with that.
really
He likes
funny.
them mean.
It'll never
She
happen.
He makes her eye twitch when he's doing stuff. It's
Yeah.
really funny. I love it.
But an example, actually, that's a great point. That you can develop flaws later, because there's one thing I will say. OC, obviously, I won't say it because some of you are in the guild and I don't want to ruin it. There's this one story that I've always told. I know I've told Tarval. I don't think I've told any other character here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've told Raj, but he's not here because he's,
punk ass bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Raj, if you look back on this video, West Coast offense is better than any other offense.
He doesn't listen to this show.
There's one flaw, and it was that story, and I didn't even know where I wanted to take it. But every time I told the story of what happened with Travis and how he lost his eye, every time details were different, and I knew there was a reason why. Like, I didn't know exactly what the lie was. Eventually, it developed, and I knew where it was, but it's just something that the flaw kind of evolved over time as I better got to know my character through RP.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and that's why, that's why I've always been a fan. Like, I get a general outline, but when it comes to the nitty-gritty details, a lot of times I might have a general idea, but I won't come up with a solid answer until I'm asked. Like, that's when it will solidify in my mind. I know not everybody can do that, or they don't like it to do that stuff.
Yeah, I don't have the short-term memory to pull that off. So.
But
that would be bad.
But like I could find out things, like for Tarvala's past, like she was from Necron, but like when someone asks her like when's the first time you really thought you might want to be an ordinator, for her it would be seeing those ordinators in mourning with their black crying masks and seeing the respect and things like that they had pulled in the good that they actually did for the people as well. That they may have been scary, but they actually did a lot of really good work. It's little things like that start to come out about your character, and that's more of a memory, not necessarily a flaw. But that's a lot of those little flaws can kind of come up that way too. Like one of them was why she never drank alcohol. I wanted to have a character that didn't really drink heavily, and so that she had gotten drunk once, and then she had to open a portal, and instead of porting people in practice where they were supposed to, they ended up over the middle of a lake, and she got in a lot of trouble for it. So she kind of swore off drinking after that.
Hope you can swim, 'cause you're going in.
Awesome.
I have to say something about what I want to say Travis brought up because I'm so used to that. But this is why you need to sit down and just role play with people, talk to them. You don't have to have like big epic events. Just sit down and have a conversation with somebody. I know most guilds have like a kitchen area or a little area that you can sit and just visit. And that's how you get to know people, how you get to know flaws, how you get to build the character. It's why we do this.
Yeah, that's very true.
Exactly.
Yeah, not everything.
So now
has
I'm
to
gonna
be
have
an
to go
epic
ahead
event.
and Travis and get nice to try to talk to him to see what the flaw, what it is. What is it? I gotta know.
No, only I get to know.
You still don't know the answer, the real answer.
Yeah, he's like the Joker. You want to know how I got these
It honestly
stars?
actually is kind of like
That's
that,
what
but
you
not
did
to
it
the
from,
same
yeah.
level.
Yeah, not
Like,
quite to
The story
uh,
is similar that he tells, but the
Yeah.
details, I purposely add little details that are different every time.
Yeah, and
Bruce Bob, the one thing about the eye, if you ever say this in boot, Kizdian, look into my eye. I will freaking love you forever. Just saying. Because I'm essentially playing Hudson.
Aliens, yeah. Look into my eye, and he's flipping them off. Yeah. But no, those are actually very good points. I'm really glad you had brought up the thing about the coming up with new flaw. Because if you solve, and that's the other thing, if you solve a flaw, like if your character overcomes a fear of heights, whatever, you can always introduce another flaw to take its place of a different variety. Maybe they're, maybe they're going to learn to not eat oranges like a goddamn heathen,
Or don't even get me started at OOC. Like the fact that Evula role plays that she eats oranges and she eats the skin of oranges. It isn't even IC triggered. I'm OOC triggered.
See, I'm going to give you a pass on that. I think that's one where it's okay to mix a little bit because the gag reflex, yeah.
Yeah, good. I mean, even if you didn't give me permission, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm just saying, for me personally, I'm giving you a pass. Yeah. So.
But another way I've kind of developed flaws is not even, I even thought about them they're literally spur of the moment. There were a few flaws I know that I've developed that, like, for my character, that I realized it would be a very interesting way to go in the situation. And there just hasn't been the opportunity for me to even, kind of contradict myself, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like, I'm just instantly going to add this flaw that all the other times never showed, but this time it's going to show. It's one of those things where I've never been in that situation IC-wise, and it's like, this could be an interesting flaw.
If it comes up. Yeah, and that's that's always a good thing to have ones in reserve that, like, well, I guess if this ever happens, this might trigger. Like the literal version of being triggered. Like, oh, hey, this has come up finally. I can finally pull this off the back burner, and it brings up a new thing.
Or even a spur of the moment one.
Yeah.
Kind of like, this has never happened. You realize, wait a second, this could be a very interesting flaw for my character. That would make sense for my character. Not something, that instantly, I mean, it could be something that instantly comes out of nowhere, but usually it's something that...
Right, it's not going to be like, oh no, I touched silver, now I'm a vampire,
Exactly.
I've been discovered.
But... I mean, it could, but that would be...
Yeah, in our guild, that would be a very short stint of a flaw.
Yeah, that wouldn't last very long.
It would end in tears. But
actually, I'm not even sure it would end in tears. It would just end.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to get a chance to even shed a few tears.
I meant for the player, not for the character.
Oh,
the character would be like, wait, no. Oh, we lost him.
We'd be like, there goes another commander.
Just another in a long line. And now Tarvala's rule will come.
But you forgot one of my flaws, and I'm secretly a werewolf that can resurrect or something as a zombie.
Zombie werewolf. I knew it. I always suspected because I'm flawless.
Yeah, sure.
Right, yeah. I have no flaws. I'm perfect in every way, shape, and form.
Oh, heaven help us.
Okay, at least form. I mean, she is pretty hot.
She's Dolly Parton of the Dunmer world.
She is.
She's a Nord. Parvala's a Nord.
Nord in disguise.
Nord in disguise.
Nord in disguise.
You're a freak. Who would say that? Oh my goodness. No, it's a severe skin disorder. No.
Oh God.
Oh no. Blanket.
Oh.
All right. Well, I think we're winded down. Well, Truth Bob, I appreciate you calling in.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right.
All hail the Truth Bob.
Only one thing I gotta say before I leave. Hippity hoppity. Argonians are Dunmer property.
You the man.
You have a good night, brother.
Later.
Take it easy, y'all.
All right.
That's glorious.
Appreciate him calling in, which you can too next week over at rpmmradio.com/discord. If you ever want to call in, you're more than welcome to. We usually will have a call screener to screen you, but the ones that the constant listeners, I know who they are, and also he's been
we know who you are,
which we always appreciate.
Yes.
So I think that about covers it. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about how amazingly unflawed I am.
How's that couch going to be tonight?
Probably extremely comfortable. I mean, it's really actually not a bad.
It's not the couch he has to worry about. It's the cat.
I don't mind the
Sib's
cat.
force choke in the middle of the night.
The cat used to stay in there with us, but someone developed a cat allergy, so she doesn't come into the bedroom anymore. Before that, I never cared about the cat. I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not exactly saying I'm not coming out as a furry exactly, but I never had problems with cats in bed.
That sounds like a flaw. A furry flaw.
This is why nobody likes you.
It's a dad's cat hanging with dad.
I think you're so wrong. I'm the sweet one.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets in the Vader pod.
Yeah, right. Choke her out. But she likes it. Well, you got to give the ladies what they want.
Really?
And how?
Mm-hmm. So, all right. I'm starting the music. I'm ending it. I'm calling it Time of Death 9/11. Oh, wow, that is very unfortunate.
Oh my goodness.
That is very unfortunate.
That is very 9/12. Yep, there we go.
Okay.
Time of Death.
There we
Much
go.
better. Much better.
There we are. Wow.
Night, everybody.
So, appreciate everybody
Thank
tuning
you.
in. Our RPMMO Radio. Remember, you can always join us live every Saturday, 7 Central Time, twitch.tv/RPMMO Radio, and join us over on our Discord, rpmmoradio.com/Discord. There's a little linky button there. You click on it, join it, and it will announce your presence. So with that, I want to thank my crew, Jazz, Sib, Sibh'Bae, I, of course, am Ashton Phoenix, and I want to thank our mods, Rahanar and Yunfei, and Kishmis, wherever you are out there. And, of course, our caller and Patreon donor, the Truth Ball. That's right. So, with that, join us next time when we'll go over why halflings are nothing but flaws. Next time on RPMMO Radio. Good night, everybody! Music, as always, is provided by Husky by the Geek. Visit him at youtube.com/HuskyByTheGeek to hear all his great video game rock covers and original music.